everyone, this is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Michael Damiani.
Hello.
Michael Huber.
This is...
And Brandon Jones.
Hi.
Huber, I never committed to the is until you commented on it.
Nice.
And then I was like, you know what? I'll command that is for the rest of this show's tenure.
Well done.
I do. It is unusual to stress the is, but we stick to it.
WNBC.
That's exactly what I meant.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Are you all ready to play And For That Reason?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have to admit, I kind of caved in on the conceit of And For That Reason. Previously, these are people pitching us like comedically bad video game ideas, right? This one I just like. And I kind of think this person knew I would just like this idea. This comes to us from Dominic from Australia. Good evening, Easy Allies. We've all played racing games and stopped to scour the tracks for Easter eggs and shortcuts. How about a game where you stop racing to accept lengthy Witcher-like quests from bystanders, all from the comfort of your go-kart? So, who's in? That's it. Huge sprawling RPG where you are just driving around in a go-kart.
You know, I've been playing Burnout Paradise Remastered lately. It's my favorite racing game of all time. It's an open world, but I think this is taking that concept one step further, which I really like. So for that reason, I'm in.
Michael Damiani.
Wow. It's an intriguing concept, I'll give it that. I do want to ask my question.
Sure.
I need to know about this. I need to know, is it going to be a seamless, like, open world? Or is it get, like, to go talk to these NPCs? Or are they, like, segmented off zones, like their own courses, and they're just, like, quest NPCs only tied to that course?
There is no loading between courses. There are race tracks, but most of the NPCs you'll find will be on a sidewalk or waving you down at a fast food restaurant. But there are NPCs hiding in the woods where your go-kart will go slower, but you have to just work harder to go find them.
Okay. Still unsure about whether helping him out is going to improve your time. This is a racing game.
True.
This is a racing game.
Fair, yes.
And honestly, the more I hear about this, the more I think that this is just a regular open world game with a vehicle you can hop in and drive around and talk to NPCs. And honestly, a racing game, I like the frantic nature about them. I want more ingenuity in the course design, in the types of items. I want more Mario Kart. I want more Burnout Paradise style. And for that reason, I'm out.
Brandon Jones.
Do you leave the people on the curb, or do they get in the cart with you and go with you while you're doing these missions?
There are some people who will ask to come along.
Okay.
And you may choose whether you'd like to let them ride or not.
Great.
There is a risk of them falling off.
2 words. Crazy taxi. For that reason, I'm in.
Yes.
Just right to it.
Yes.
Great. All right, let's begin. Corrections music, please. Mice can absolutely get on counters.
Of course.
This was confirmed by an exterminator. It's like, yeah, they can.
Yeah. Mice can
wasn't
go
sure.
really
Last week I
anywhere they
wasn't
want.
sure. Yeah. Apparently their claws are very
If
sharp.
there's a will, there's a way with mice.
Yeah.
One commenter brought up that Goku in Smash would be fine not flying because he doesn't fly in the Tournament of Power. So sure, he'd be fine not flying in Smash Brothers.
Perfect.
Wait,
Yeah.
which one's Tournament of Power?
It's the most recent arc in Super.
Okay, stop.
Okay. No spoilers for Damiani. Really weird thing. Everybody in the comments loves the idea of Goku being in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you
It
talk
was
about...
unanimous. It was
Wait,
crazy.
is this a bit? Is this a bit?
No.
It's a bit. I saw his eyes. I'm getting better at reading his eyes.
That's
It's a
good.
bit.
The reason you had me, Kyle...
Because he's never that genuine, even when he's telling the truth. You know, you get the soft, kind eyes.
Exactly.
Like, hey guys, you know
I thought
what?
he was going to bring up the thing about
got some
Forbes
free
talking
cookies
about
for you.
it or
You're like,
something
get
like
out of
that.
here.
The Forbes article, like people asking Nintendo, where's Goku?
No, we got a lot of flack for
Shame
thinking
on you, Kyle
Goku. That's
Boston.
all right. He's not a video game guy. It's fine. Villager has one punch move. That was a correction because I said Villager doesn't punch. However, that's it. You got one punch move, and this proves my point. You have a Smash character, and one of his moves is punch, and everything else is like flopping around with sticks and umbrellas, like making holes that incidentally hurt the people. Like that's just. That's the kind of correction that misses the point of the argument I was trying to make. He's not a good Smash character, and she is not a good Smash character. The ARMS characters do have different movesets. This is always stressed, and something that I kind of dismiss about ARMS is that the characters all seem the same. Apparently, they're very different in how they actually play. Like, they have more jumps or slowing down time and things like that. So I want to acknowledge that. Give ARMS its fair due and corrections music, please. So my favorite way to start a podcast is a game announcement. We had a game announcement this week that doesn't thrill me. It's not that kind of game announcement. Rise of the Tomb Raider was officially announced this week. I like that suspense. Like, we all know the news. We all remember this happening, but like by the time it's Tuesday, we kind of forgot it happened.
Oh, of course, every time.
Yeah, exactly. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, we saw, let me get through the details first. It will come out September 14th. That's the release date. The full reveal will happen on April 27th, not too far from now. And it will come out on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on the same day. Panel, what do we see of that game this week?
Whole lot of nothing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, very little.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
Very little that holds really any significance for me in the Tomb Raider universe. That there's absolutely nothing in that trailer that makes me think they're going there.
Yeah, what was
She's gonna do
what
this?
What did we see?
We saw what we've seen from their advertising of the last two games, which is her going through some kind of natural environment, jungle, forest, mountain area.
Getting hurt, sliding.
Right?
Yeah.
Little running. Maybe she's running from people or, monsters or whatever, like other, people with
Supernatural
weapons.
beings.
And then she gets to the top of a mountain and sees some temple or something in the distance that she's going to go explore. And that is what she does. That is a normal day in the life of Lara Croft. So using that to be like, this is the third game, we're taking it to this level, does not resonate with me at all. I'm sure it's going to be great. I loved the first game, didn't play the second one. So it's not a slight against what I think the game is going to be. It's just surprising to me that
It's just a bad teaser.
there was nothing.
Even the
Teaser for Rise, which I was not a huge fan of, had her talking with the psychologist. So
I
you
love
kind of
that.
get a sense of her kind of
Yes.
grappling with who she was and how much of this would be dangerous for her. And
because it was different, man. We've
it
never
felt
seen that
reckless.
before.
It felt like she was kind of going overboard a little bit. And I was like, ooh, I'm eager to explore this.
And then they actually dropped that whole storyline by the time the game came out.
And I can't remember if just in the language they've been using about the game, they said that like she's finally going to become the Tomb Raider, or if they actually said that in the trailer itself. Like, did that text pop up that's like, get ready for
And for the Rise?
the final?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, this is the end of a trilogy, right? Like, we're getting that. But yeah, I don't think they were like, Lara is finally Lara. I don't think that was the sell.
It just felt like they threw this out there to coincide with the movie release. Straight up. Just build a little hype,
you know what?
get the movie release hype,
You're right.
and then do the full trailer down the line once there's a little more space in between them.
Maybe I'm being too harsh on it. Maybe it's just like, look, our hands were forced. We had to do this.
No,
Yeah.
I get it all, but
Yeah.
it still kind of de-hyped me in a weird way
Yes.
because the tease, it got leaked before, which is such a bummer.
I didn't mention that. That's totally true. Yes.
So that
You saw it off like a projector screen or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You saw
that-
somebody walk by in the middle of it.
yeah, so that killed the hype,
Yeah.
and then we finally get to see it, and then the teaser is just nothing. So then I'm just like, okay, whatever. So it's kind of like a whatever feeling now, versus like I want to see it. I'm excited. Granted, I'm sure the full reveal will be awesome, but
Are you sure of that?
I think so. I mean, like, again, the last two were great, and I think like in this moment, I'm not that excited, but I think seeing a full on trailer will be great.
Damiani,
And games are looking so good right now.
I
It's
think
gonna
that-
look good.
I think that full-on trailer. Well, the thing is, I think that what we saw of the teaser is mostly CG. I wonder if at April 27th we're seeing mostly CG.
It
Yeah.
better be gameplay.
better be
If it's not,
Yeah.
if it's not gameplay, that better define crystal clear for me what on earth Shadow of the Tomb Raider means. Like, is it someone chasing her? Like, did she do something that she's now, gonna pay the price for?
Ooh,
what
I
does
love
that
that.
mean?
Consequences.
If I don't have any sort of even a hint at what that means, that sucks for me. It's like
Yeah, I mean,
bummer.
Damiani, what do they have to show on April 27th for people to care this fall? This crazy fall that we have coming up. It is nice it's in September. I think we can talk about its release date being good. But what do they have to show on that trailer to impress people?
I mean, be clear that I haven't played either of the previous two, so
Sure. So they got to sell you harder than anyone.
yeah, it's a little odd to ask. I mean, I think Brandon kind of like said a little bit of what they need to show off. Is just something that isn't what has been expected so far. Something that isn't like you hear or see Tomb Raider. You see the traditional environments and traditional activities. Lara Croft doing the same thing you would expect her to be doing. They need to have that hook. Like Brandon coming up with like the backstory to like Shadow of the Tomb Raider was like, it's probably better than what we're gonna get in the trailer coming in April. I was like, that's pretty good. They should hire Brendan right there. But it just needs that hook. It needs something that's gonna get people talking about it, gonna get people excited. Like, did you see that she can now do this in this one? Or oh, she's got like a sister or something. Like, there's like a new
Sister wouldn't do it.
I don't.
Sister would bomb. Yeah, sister would not do it.
Or like, there's like a rival or something. I don't know, something that like raises the stakes for her, not just like the danger of going to the tombs. Like, it needs to be that like this is the hardest thing she's ever gone after, but also like there's someone as good, maybe better than her, also going after it. Something to make it
rivals
like,
are good,
very like high drama. Need some high drama there.
Well, I'm sorry. I like the idea of she did something wrong. You know, it'd be neat. Yeah. It'd be neat to have a line in the trailer where somebody's, you know, it's like this person's relentless and they're following us. You know, like I don't know what's wrong with them, and have a line from her where she's like, they have a right to be mad at me. Like that's I screwed that person over to get what I wanted because I'm headstrong. I've survived these 2 incredible experiences, so I'm not really afraid of a lot anymore. And so it'd be neat to kind of see her just kind of get a little out of control and
give us a little
have
Breaking
her friends
Bad.
try to reel her in and be like, whoa.
I would love a massive scale and scope, like globetrotting adventure, huge like Hitman style areas that you go in, you know, whether it's that
tackle from multiple angles,
like a giant temple God of War style that you go through and puzzle solve, to like a giant mansion gala ball art exhibit. So like different type of, you know, exploration and set pieces in that sense.
I like that you brought up God of War, because that first God of War gameplay reveal, that's what I need on the 27th.
Yes,
or at least like a tease of that, and then the full thing at E3. I'm like,
sure.
Okay, cool. Like, we'll see a good just raw 4 minutes of like, whoa, you know, starting somewhere, and I can't believe in just 4 minutes we got to that point. Yeah.
Do we want? I think we should talk about September 14th for a second, actually, because this is a AAA huge title for Square Enix. Well, they have Kingdom Hearts coming this year as well. But yeah, they said, well, it's September. Okay, we're not going to fight with anybody. Yeah. We're gonna be the earliest of fall that we could possibly be, basically. Yeah. I love that. I love that decision.
For sure.
I think it's got the best chance for survival. In a place where Rise of the Tomb Raider had no chance of survival.
If you want to play Red Dead, you can play this too.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
While you're waiting.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really encouraging. The team's probably stressing out like crazy to get it ready in time, but yeah, I think that's a good date anyway. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I wonder if they show like a full gameplay before E3, then what would they show at E3? If there's like some expanded multiplayer thing, because the last game had those weird card modifiers that you could like speed run levels, and that ended up being a bust. So.
Right, even though you didn't have to use them, you still collected them in single player. It's so strange to me. Yeah, you're right. I do honestly wonder how they'll monetize it. Mm-hmm. That is a thing. That is a factor of the decisions that they're making currently or have in the past. So yeah, I do wonder about that, Huber.
Mm-hmm. Remember like the bear from the first game? Or that reveal? Like, oh no, the bear!
Yeah,
like she's like in the snow and stuff. Like, it'd be neat to have the 27th lead up to the bear or something of that equivalent. Comes out of a cave and rah!
Give us a tiger again.
To be continued. Cool. Whoa! Yeah. And then maybe at E3 they show that fight multiple different areas where it's like you can tackle it this way, you can skip it, you can, you know, to maybe just take one thing and show many facets of it. Yeah. But we got to get to gameplay quick. You can't like. We're the third game in. You cannot sell us on concept, because it's like you're selling us on a concept of a reboot of a game we've been franchise we've played for 20 years, like 30 years. I don't know. You know.
Yeah. I also demand to see double pistols. Demand it.
We haven't gotten there, have we?
It is time.
The conclusion of the first game ends with double pistols.
Yeah.
And then it's like that was, you know. Yeah. We're not going to really keep that up. So,
I finished both of them, but I don't even remember the second. Like, I don't remember the second one at all. And that I enjoyed my time with it, but I don't really remember much about it. I just remember a lot of snow, a lot of mountains. Mm-hmm. That's it.
It's funny, like if they abandoned like the father storyline and just picked up 2 guns and put in dinosaurs, we would forgive them. And I don't think they realize that. We'd be fine with it. It'd be okay, you know. Like you have fans of this new franchise, of this reboot, but we'd all forgive you if you put dinosaurs back in. I think. Yeah, well, we'll see. And I do expect it. Like I love extended gameplay trailers. Yeah. It's just weird. This one does not have the Xbox launch that Rise of the Tomb Raider had.
It needs a Doc Brown spider monster.
It needs it. Yes.
Big time.
Yeah.
Because the first one, like the cultists, that whole reveal, I'll never forget that. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, the whole what I think of is the boat falling apart.
Yeah.
And you just see her beat up and scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different angle on Lara Croft that
I
we've seen
think
before.
her friends and close ones being scared of her is the 3-pointer to
Nice,
finish
John.
off the trilogy. You know,
I love that.
Cool, I
for
like
her
this.
to have become something to have become something that she once feared and hated to accomplish
Just a
her goals.
ruthless killer.
And then really realizing like what do I want to be? Like, do I want to keep this up, or is this turning me into a bad guy?
Shadow
Bad gal.
of the Tomb Raider. It's good. One thing we've learned that we love to talk about on this podcast are the NPDs.
Yes.
Yes, these are the sales data of each particular month in the United States for video games. For some reason, it's just a blast to talk about them.
Love NPDs.
Well, all right, Hubert, do you want to talk about hardware or software first?
Let's do hardware first.
Okay.
Software is way more fun.
Great. Okay, cool. So, the best-selling console of February, what do you think it is? Nope, PlayStation 4. Okay. Can't stop that PlayStation 4. It's best-selling console of February. Best-selling console of 2018. Sticking with that. However, an interesting fact about the Switch, it had the best first year of any console ever in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mario and Zelda will do that for
Mario
you.
and Zelda will do that, yeah. We wonder if it'll have the best second year and the best third year, right? But yeah, that's a historically successful console. That's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I fear though that I dread the momentum like falling off. They've done nothing to prove. Nintendo's done nothing to prove that it's gonna go that direction. But there's always like in the back of my head, I always have this weird thing that like this is it's just gonna happen. The shoes is gonna drop, and it's gonna be like
We've been through it, yeah.
we've been through this before. It's like, oh, and it's yesterday's news. Look at Sony, Microsoft just being that the strong and steady, the stable, this going strong for such a long time, leaving Nintendo behind. I'm like, can they break that trend this time? Because we sold well for several years after that, and I want Switch to at least have that because it's good for everybody.
Yes.
When Switch is doing well. Right now we have so many people talking about who the third parties are going to put stuff on Switch. We're always excited to see what's going to be next and stuff. And it's also should be pushing Sony and Microsoft to work harder as well as a crap. Like Nintendo's doing really well too. What we could do to counter that? So it's good for everybody when they do that.
Yeah. It's funny to me. I think it's easy to say, oh, well, Nintendo combined their consoles with their handhelds. Of course, it's doing very well. That's a fair argument. But it's crazy that in the meantime, the 3DS is still doing bonkers. We talked about it last week about the Nintendo Direct. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that they are able to keep both of those consoles selling well. It's crazy.
The thing about the Switch is it's portable, but it's not a portable console. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things about the 3DS that are just they're port. You can fit it in your pocket. You flip it up. It's got Street Pass. Like, there's so many things that are more fun about actually traveling with the 3DS and going to other places and trying out games and the way just the benefits that adds. And the Switch is just kind of something that like it'll move with you, but it's just not. 3DS it's a very cool system, and there's so many of them out there that I was kind of a dummy thinking that I was. My initial impressions when we finally saw the Switch, it was like, oh, goodbye 3DS.
Mine too. I was there with you, Jones.
Extremely short-sighted. Like,
yeah.
2019
is going to keep rolling.
It's still around.
Yeah. Hubert, what made this thing the best-selling console in the U.S. in its first year of all time?
Obviously Mario and Zelda, but the fact that it's unique. I mean, we're in 2018 now, but in like 2017, we're getting a new type of gaming machine that we really haven't had. I know it obviously shares similarities with like you can say it's a big 3DS or something, but it's still a home console that you can take places, and that is awesome.
Sure.
Like taking it on vacation or on business trips or wherever, it feels like you're taking a little piece of home with you, and that's a feeling I never really got with 3DS.
Wow.
Me personally.
No, man. When you talk about feelings, you hit something there. That's actually really interesting. Is you feel like you're taking your console.
Yeah.
That thing you plug in and have Mario up on your full screen.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're taking that with you. Wow. No, that means something to me. That's actually, that's cool.
And compare, any conversation about like you really got to get a 4K TV, you really got to get an Xbox One X, and see not only these new systems but see this other stuff. Like you really got to see the exclusives that are on PlayStation 4. They're really impressive. Like I just finished, you name like the exclusive. Nothing's immediately jumping to the top of my head, but versus Horizon, you got to play Horizon. There's nothing like it. It's really great. Versus, look at this. It's in my hand right now.
Sure.
It's in my backpack. Look, boom, there it is. And you're holding it. Oh, it feels good. And like, oh, it looks, runs great. And, so that's, something. I was showing that to people that I know would never buy it, that I know don't play games nearly as much as I do. That were like, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
So everyone's out there selling it.
And the fact that you can revisit old games in unique and new ways. Like Dark Souls is coming out. That's an entirely new way to play the game.
What was the game earlier that we talked about? And Jones was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in now." It was like some indie game that was like, they're bringing that to Switch, and you're just like, "Oh, I'm in now."
Hyper Light Drifter.
Hyper Light Drifter.
Yes.
Or like
But that's not the only one. There's several.
Darkest Dungeon is such a good one. It has like touch controls and stuff on it. It's like, oh my goodness.
It's funny, yeah. It's just completely its own unique platform. It's great.
Tristan at the meetup was like, I brought my Switch. I was just playing Darkest Dungeon like in bed at night. You can just play with one hand. So I'm just like, just like so relaxing,
Oh, why is there a mobile version of that game? I didn't think so.
No, you can do.
It's just crazy they made the whole game touch. Well, I guess because your mouse, you would play on PC. You play with a mouse. Yeah.
I saw a diagram the other day of like a crane that holds the Switch like over your head, so you're lying in bed just looking straight up, and like
your two Joy-Cons
and your hands are underneath the covers with the Joy-Cons, just like that's so great.
Yeah,
it's like I wouldn't do that, but more power to you if you pull that off.
Yeah, well, I mean we're doomed. We're doomed. Let's go to software. Let's talk about these things.
Nice.
What do you think, Hubert? What do you think the number one best-selling game of February was?
Shadow of the Colossus.
No.
Possibly.
Well, it sounds like Damiani knows. You've already seen this, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Then I want to guess from Jones.
No, Shadow of the Colossus is 8.
I want to guess from Jones. What do you think number one from February is?
My brain's not working well right now. I have no idea. Call of Duty. I don't know.
Monster Hunter World again.
Dude.
The repeat. Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
That's incredible. I gotta stop using the word crazy for this. Like, yeah, that's unusual.
That's got to be for back end support. I mean, that can't be just word of mouth. That's got to be them, supporting this game after launch with new stuff coming.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People are still committed.
They are doing a great job at that.
What are they doing? What are they doing to support
this game? They have added numerous costumes. They've really.
Are they cool costumes?
Yeah, they spaced it out really well actually. First, you could get the Palico, which is your cat companion. You could dress it up like a Watcher from Horizon.
Yeah.
So you could do that.
They have that in the game right now?
They have
That's
that.
funny.
And then later it was Ryu from Street Fighter. You could get his costume.
And it's not just like you download it for free. It's like you go out and earn it, right?
Yeah, you have to buy the taunts. So like the Hadouken you have to buy, but you can get the costume, the full costume for free.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Well, how much is a Hadouken?
I think it was like $2. Yep.
That's so funny. Like this game doesn't have anything sketchy. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, well, that thing's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. Yeah. There's no loot boxes.
That's Street Fighter money.
Yeah,
Who
just
knows?
spend $2 on a Hadouken because we don't have loot boxes. Like, okay.
And then after that, recently they added Aloy. You could get Aloy's armor from Horizon.
And does she have unique taunts as well that are just like?
I haven't seen it fully, so I don't know 100%.
And Dante's coming.
Dante, yeah, and then Dante's coming. They announced that.
Yes.
And he looks awesome.
Yeah.
He looks out of control.
That trailer was so good.
Dude.
And who's coming Thursday? Something Joe?
A brand new
Devil
monster,
Joe?
Devil Joe, which is this is my first Monster Hunter, so I don't even know, but apparently it's a monster from older games,
right?
That is ferocious.
But you don't pay for him, right? He's just
free.
gonna pop up in the game. That's what Jones is talking about. They're just supporting that game.
Yep, I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Between that and Fortnite, Jones, this is the year. So I am now a believer of limited time events in games. Mm-hmm. It's not a new concept, but in terms of like right now, where so many games are asking for our time and there's just so many new games to jump onto and play, locking down events and meaningful updates and like new things is just so important, and I'm so on board. Like events that feel special, where you have to go into the game between this limited amount of time, and I just love that. And Monster Hunter is doing a great job.
Paving that road for years, Damiani.
Yep.
MMOs,
of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they wrote the book.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I feel like even MMOs take kind of a little while for those events. Like there's some months go by. It feels like At least with World of Warcraft.
Traditionally,
Yeah.
they do.
And
But-
they repeat events, I know. I don't know about 14, but like WoW will repeat
Of
events.
course. But you hit it like right on the head, Huber, like the limited time thing.
Yeah.
Like seasonal type events.
Yes.
Around that where you can get like, here's some like gear, here's an emote you can get.
Yep.
Here's like a sort of like new like monster to fight. Maybe it's like not a serious new monster like a Monster World, but like throw in like a joke thing for like Halloween. They throw in like a ghoulish looking like, you know, one of the monsters or something, and you're in like a cool like Halloween themed out. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just simple stuff like that.
It's really like it was a limited time to get that Ryu costume. It felt important.
Really?
It's
That's
like,
a window that's closed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And like the Aloy, the window closes on those things.
That's incredible, actually.
Yeah.
So I know like Destiny 2 does it, but they have these weird, they monetize those hard, where they're like, oh, and we have special money during these events as well.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal because like in Destiny, say it's like a Valentine's Day event, they have like a new play mode, which is cool, like a 2-on-2, because it's like, oh, you and your significant other can like go dual 2-on-2 mode. So it's like every time you level up and like turn in tokens and stuff, you can get that special loot box.
Yeah.
But it's kind of slow. So it's like, okay, well you can buy those for real money. So it like those events, and like Overwatch too, you know, those events like really incentivize you to spend money because it's like there's only a limited amount of time to get these
Do
special
the windows
rewards.
close on the Overwatches too?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
But they come
Okay.
back. Like the most famous one is like the Halloween one.
Yeah.
You can get like a Frankenstein's monster outfit for Roadhog, and it's like the coolest thing, and it's like you can only get it during Halloween. So I've missed it every time, and it's like, all right, next Halloween I'm gonna get it.
What Fortnite does really well is when you get into these events, there's like, here's the thing everyone gets for free. There you go. You know, you just showing up, you know, like, boom. Oh, cool. I got a thing. And then there's like, and these are the things that are random. You know, you got a loot box for those and you might get this gun or whatever. Here are the things that are kind of hard to get. And then here's the gold medal right at the top. You got to commit to get to this thing.
John Wick is that, right?
John Wick's that Battle Royale in
Level 100.
the spring event right now going on in Save the World. There's a hero that's like a monkey that's kind of like the like he's got, you know, Chinese armor and the gold like shoulder pads.
and there's no way to flat out buy that, correct?
You gotta
in Battle Royale.
it's a currency that you can well, I don't, you can buy
you?
V-Bucks, but
In
you
Battle
can't
Royale,
buy the
that's
spring
the
stuff.
only way.
I can buy John Wick?
Oh, for that, no. Because for Fortnite Battle Royale, they have like the Battle Pass ones. To get the Battle Pass, it's $10. Every time you level up, you advance, and at certain levels, you get those rewards. But when Jones was talking about like that monkey thing, that was like $20 in the store.
Oh, you could just
real
flat out
money.
buy it for 20. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Or
so
in
the
Save
two
the World,
modes
you can earn it.
So
you
the
know,
two modes are monetized very
just play a
differently.
bunch, yeah.
What's cool too is just really briefly is the competitive modes that they add, limited time. It just makes it feel important, and they're so different than standard Battle Royale. They add like a 50 versus 50 or 5 teams of 20, or right now they have going on is Blitz mode, which is everything is faster. The map shrinks faster. You have to get to the set like
Oh, I don't like this one bit.
but it's
temporary, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a limited time event that you can join in. So it's like every time these events happen, it's like, dude, I'm gonna hop in because this is different than singles or duos.
Do we know if they're ever going to sell Fortnite in a box? Certainly they will, right?
Certainly, right?
It's gotta get
It's
out
still
early
in
access
beta,
at
right?
some point.
It's
Yeah.
early access, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm positive it'll come in a box soon. Yeah, and then we'll be talking about that on the top of NPDs. Yeah, it's strange. It's intensely popular, digital only. Yeah, that's the world we live in.
Devil Joe, though, we're gonna be streaming that Thursday.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter, streaming that new monster.
Are you going to slaughter it?
I hope so.
Okay.
I mean, we got Ben, Brad, and Ian, and myself. We only struggled once on weekly hunts. It was end game quest. It was where you have to hunt 2 basil geese. Basil geese. It was like this flammable beast that like does bombing runs. It like flies in the sky and drops bombs everywhere.
And everybody just dies.
Yeah, and you had to fight 2 at the same time. So we died a couple times, but I don't even know what this Devil Joe is. So we'll see.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Jones's guess, Call of Duty World War II. Keeping it going.
Wow.
Yep.
What's crazy is Ben Moore today is like, Huber, guess what I've been playing? I'm like, Fortnite? I don't know. And he's like, World War II. I was like, now?
He's playing
What?
multiplayer? What is he playing?
He's playing multiplayer.
Wow, that does shock me. That
Yeah.
floors me.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a huge audience for it. It's a huge fan base. It's cool. Call of Duty World War II is the best-selling game of the last 12 months, even though it hasn't been for sale for the last 12 months. You know, just banks it hard. Number 3, NBA 2K18 continues to sell. The comments for this podcast have assured me that it's actually a very good game.
Oh, NBA 2K?
Yeah.
So legit.
Yeah. The number 4 game. I'm really excited about this too. Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't
that's
drop
great.
that hard. I
That's
expected
great.
it to fall off the
That's
top
really
10
great.
this week.
That's good to hear.
This month, I mean. Yeah.
Wow.
Dragon Ball Fighters continuing to sell well into February.
Story mode.
Oh, don't give me... I mean, I wonder, maybe we should have a quick conversation, really. Damiani, maybe you should hop in on this one. How important do you think that story mode is to that game's success?
So, I do think it's important to the success because I think a lot of people care about Dragon Ball's story.
Yes.
What's funny is looking up arcs and sagas on Dragon Ball wiki page, they have video game sagas, and Dragon Ball Fighters has its like own saga and stuff.
Yes.
And like it has 3 different arcs or something. I was like, what? I was like, crap. Do I have to play this now?
Yeah,
it's like as a
You do
kid.
not. You do not have
Okay.
to play this.
Yeah, it's filler arc.
But
Filler
sure.
arc for
like
sure.
that's how excited I think some fans get worked up about this, and they're looking forward to it. Not just like this awesome looking fighting game that's representing these great characters, just a new story with them again,
Exactly.
an original story. And to be honest, having played through some of the older Dragon Ball fighting games, they do a lot with story, and and it's not as the same now, I think, as it was back then when not everything was coming out over here or was like so far behind. It was a little like delayed, like because Dragon Ball Z came out like
By years.
yeah, like Dragon Ball
Yes.
Z ended like in the mid 90s and it didn't start coming on. There were ways to watch it sort of before then, but it wasn't until it got like popular in like the late 90s 2000s here in the US. So video games used to be one of the outlets like the Budokai stuff covered like almost all the arcs of Dragon Ball Z. It was like 3 covered everything. Like that's how I know about like Majin Buu stuff, even though I haven't watched it yet. It was like Dragon Ball Budokai 3 is like it goes to that arc. I was like, okay, we're just
because
going
all the research you were doing for Game
yeah,
Sleuth?
for
That's
that.
funny, yeah.
So I can definitely see that there's some definite appeal in there. It's like the awesomeness of these characters fighting together and seeing like new storylines behind them. It's just fun to mess around with.
Yeah.
And they're adding Brawly and Bardock like this month,
Yeah, this week.
this week.
Yeah, 1 week from now, I think. Yeah, we'll have those characters, so that's pretty cool.
Don't really know about Broly yet. I know all about Bardock. though.
Bardock. Hype.
Broly is non-canon.
I know it from the movies.
Yeah.
I know that much.
But he's just beloved. Everybody loves that big guy.
Yeah.
Some kind of super powerful Saiyan, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Legendary Saiyan. Number 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, of course. Number 6 is Shadow of the Colossus. Not number 8, Damiani.
That was 8.
Number 6.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's right here, man.
Okay.
It's legit.
It's on a different list, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a $40 game, and remember, NPD ranks these by revenue now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it actually sold a lot of
All
copies.
of that. It's good for that.
Yeah.
Good for that game, for more people to try and play it, even though it's not the original one. But also good for Blue Point. It just keeps elevating their
Yes.
profile and their resume.
Yes.
They have been so good for the most part on all of these. It just means that they're probably gonna get another huge like project next.
Oh,
Like,
we didn't bring it. I had it in my rundown last
It's a
week.
rumor, right?
No, they've announced it. It was in an interview with help me. It's Eurogamer's technical side. Digital Foundry.
Digital
They had an
yeah.
interview with Digital Foundry, and they asked like, "Hey, when are you gonna make your own game?" And they're like, "Not the next one. The next game we're making is another huge remake."
The dream. Do you want to know what the dream
Yeah,
is?
what's your dream?
Okay, the dream.
Oh, here we go.
Devil May Cry HD Collection just came out on PS4, and
Yeah.
Kamiya has been tweeting up a storm,
Okay.
and he straight up said, he's like, I think it's time for a remake of the original Devil May Cry.
It's not that. They said it's
No.
bigger than Shadow of the Colossus. They're hiring up. They're getting art people ready. They're
imagine?
getting a huge team ready to make their own game eventually.
Okay.
So they're picking a bigger game than Shadow of the Colossus. Devil May Cry is a downgrade, dude.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it's a bigger name than Shadow of the Colossus.
It is, but I
Yeah.
think in terms of scope and in terms of being in like as a studio trying to impress people, trying to make their own new games eventually.
I feel like it has to be an adventure type game, like large scale adventure game.
Jones, you look like you're racking your brain right
Yeah.
now.
Oh
Jones,
yeah.
what's
Well,
it
I
gonna
mean,
be?
how exciting is that?
Oh, it's
though?
really
You know,
exciting.
It's like,
So
It's so
exciting.
funny. Like I didn't even bother thinking about it because
Well,
it's like impossible to guess.
Hubert.
You know?
I just feel like we're going through this era right now in games where like all these publishers, Nintendo, like the big changes they did to Odyssey, going back to the roots of Mario, going back to the roots of Zelda, making a big wide open world, and having these pay off are like, yes, because it's like next, like now it worked more.
Yeah.
And so it's so great that this, I mean, I before you even said that they were going to move right from this to the other one, it was like, oh, it sold that well? Sweet. Like I wonder, gosh, I wonder what that is. It's got to be Sony exclusive. Right?
Do you think so?
It's got to be exclusive
they haven't
PlayStation
said.
4.
That's why.
Yeah.
But people, I think, might assume that since they've been doing that. Huber, I've got it for you.
Okay.
Because Shadow of the Colossus also had an HD remaster come out around the same time frame as this other series, and then it got an HD remake of of Shadow of the Colossus, but not Eco. One of the God of War games is going to get that HD remake, ground up.
That would be nuts.
There you
That
go.
would be nuts.
That would be nuts if we're talking like that giant fight with Ares. Like maybe that would be an upgrade at
like
some
one.
point. But
I got heavy doubts with that
Yeah.
because then your brain's all split. Then it's weird. Sony's promoting
point
like,
of
remember
doing
that
the reboot?
old craziness?
Sure,
and you're like,
sure,
wait,
sure.
you just rebooted it.
like
Not
when
rebooted,
I
but
think
you
of like
just-
a bigger step, I think of like GTA Vice City. You know what I mean? Like that's the level I'm thinking of.
Rockstar won't. I highly
They
doubt
totally
Rockstar
would because
let
they're
them
best in
touch
the
it.
biz. They look at what we
Rockstar
did.
has been very they keep releasing the game. They're not about I think they've publicly stated in interviews they're not about going back to their old games
Yeah.
and redoing them.
They're
They're
not
very
at all.
against that. I thought.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking like bigger than Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh yeah, but
Like,
God,
where do we
God
go?
of War is bigger if they would do that.
Not in
Grand
scale.
Theft Auto.
Not in scale. Like they're hiring up. You know what I mean? They're hiring up to make a bigger game, not necessarily like bigger title, but they say like we want to take on a bigger task.
I mean, I know the one I want them to do.
What's that?
It's not. I mean, Ocarina of Time, complete ground up HD remake would be like
okay,
the
that's-
crowning achievement right there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, how do you know it's not Sony?
Yeah.
And they're being very mum about that because they're being careful that
Yeah.
that would kind of tip the scales into like which way are they going with this direction? Are they gonna go with the Sony game or something else?
Metal Gear Solid. No, I'm just kidding.
The one thing they haven't proven is I don't
Yeah, but oof.
I don't know if they can move the style.
We already
of it.
got it. We
You know,
already did.
Wander's face does look weird. It looks worse than it did on PS2. Everything else looks way better. Damiani, like giving them like Zelda characters, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, team.
Wander's face looked fine on PS2 because of the resolution.
No, he's got a look, man. He's got like sharp eyes and a pale face and
I thought the old guy at the end's the what's his name, the priest guy. I forget his name now. He looked fine. Like when he takes off his mask and you see
we're
him.
talking about the main character, baby.
I know, but maybe there was just something weird with Wander they couldn't do right. Every other character I felt looked fine in that game. I don't think Link would be that hard to do.
Link would be
Honestly.
impossible. There's no way.
What are you talking about?
There's like
you already
three
have
different.
models of him that no one ever made high resolution models or attempted to make high resolution models of other than the HD remaster of Wander. They didn't try and remake him
Yeah.
to look different. Link has been in games. Like, he's been doing Breath of the Wild model. Just like touch that up.
If
a
you're
little
dropping
bit.
that Ocarina of Time, nobody's happy. They don't want that.
Come on.
They don't want it. Huber, what do you think it is?
Bluepoint did Uncharted Collection, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would love an Uncharted 1 remake.
I thought of that, but isn't Uncharted 1 kind of like a
It's a little
like,
stinky.
meh. It's
Yeah.
just the least favorite of the.
It's the
of
least
all
favorite.
of
It could
them,
use a
right?
remake.
It could
Next
use a
is a
remake.
remake, yeah.
Exactly.
Game, yeah, like-
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Just like that, the forest aspect, the jungle,
Oh, sure.
really nailing that
Yo.
next gen, expanding
Yeah.
that. Love it.
So they showed it in Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
like what they were doing.
exactly.
What Brad and I joked about. Hey, like it's Uncharted tech right
Yeah.
there. If you
Yep.
new Uncharted game coming.
Like that's where my brain went.
All right.
So
Be cool. I'm like, really excited for them to finish that and then start their own game.
Yeah.
Blue
Yeah.
Point and just becoming their own studio out of making remasters is pretty cool to me.
It's gonna be a while, Kyle.
Okay, it will be a while.
They're doing all the graphics for Final Fantasy VII remake.
I hope it's Devil May Cry.
Journey'd be fun.
Would
It's
it
a good
though?
look. It's a good looking game, but
Yeah.
I mean, just
Journey's on PS4 right now, Jones. You can go play that, dude.
right. But like Shadow of the Colossus 1 is a good looking game.
Sure, yeah,
But we
yeah.
didn't realize. Oh wow, look at that, and just don't change anything. It's the exact same game, but just like way more depth. Like
Final question about Blue Point. Do you think we'll see it at E3 this year? Announced.
no,
real
that seems
soon.
If it's the remake one?
Yeah, their next
Oh
project.
yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, Damiani's
yes.
in. Okay.
Damiani.
Yes, I'm in
Oh.
on that.
All right. He's in.
Insider knowledge.
Great.
No insight.
Just kidding.
Number 7, UFC 3. Was that its launch month?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty bad. Right? Like UFC 3 should be doing better than that.
I don't know. What's the highest?
No idea.
What's the highest a UFC game ever charted?
They used to do crazy. EA was stoked on.
No, they were huge, but they
Yeah.
ever debut at number 1. I don't remember.
They wouldn't debut at number 1, no. But
Yeah.
it doing worse than Shadow of the Colossus, I think it says something.
I don't know if it was striking or grappling, but the only thing I heard about the game is that one thing is greatly improved and then the other thing is like not good. So I think striking is amazing, but like grappling was not good. So it's like big improvements in one sense and then kind of just stalled in the other.
How's UFC doing? I don't actually know.
I don't.
I remember it had crazy momentum. Everybody's like, this is the future. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, then Ronda Rousey lost twice.
Yeah. And we had Floyd Mayweather fight, like we had that whole thing, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if UFC is like still like on the rise.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Number 8 was actually Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Wow.
And this I actually think is good.
Ooh,
I think that's really good for that game.
yeah.
That's higher than it should be, right? That's pretty good.
Huh.
Sorry?
Kickstarter game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 9, Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
And number
it's
10,
bad.
Super Mario Odyssey.
That's crazy.
Oh, there's.
What?
8 outside.
Are you gonna talk about any others?
Do you want to talk more? I got the whole top 20.
Bayonetta 2 is in the top 20.
Yeah, it's number 14.
Yeah. I wanted. Someone needs to remind us. I swear we had a bet. Someone.
I don't think we did, dude.
I think it was like I thought I said it was gonna be like top 10.
Yeah, it did not come close.
15 or something. I don't know. Just remind us if we did. But for being a re-release, the Wii U, that definitely did way better than the original release of the Wii U version of Bayonetta 2.
But still, it didn't have that Mario Kart 8 splash on the Switch.
That's Mario Kart 8. I don't think Bayonetta can ever achieve anywhere close to the numbers that a Mario Kart's gonna do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just the wider appeal.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of hard.
Unless
unless
they
you
cross it with Dante.
Yeah, Bayonetta Kart.
Okay.
I get Mario Kart's big, and I get that Mario Kart's gonna sell a lot on the Switch, but like, what's happening? Are these people just buying Switches, and then that's like the game everyone has to own?
Yes, Mario Kart, yes. Yeah.
You know?
Oh.
I think you could compare it to Pokken. I think Bayonetta's going to do around what Pokken does, around what Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze does.
Really great party game in terms of bringing your
Totally. Yeah.
bringing
Mario
your
Kart, right?
You don't have to sell me on Mario
Sure.
Kart.
Yes.
I can't believe it's. I mean, like every time I boot up my Switch, it's not like Mario Kart's not on the side there. Like, hey, Mario Kart, you might want to buy it. Like, these are people going through the store. Clearly, you know.
Yeah. It shows two things.
It's crazy.
Two things for sure. I think this is the start of you're going to see the long legs of Mario Kart over even Odyssey and even Breath of the Wild, because they were lower on the charts than that, but they're still kind of hanging in there. Mario Kart kind of does this. It hangs around. It keeps staying in those higher places. Ends up being one of the best-selling games each generation for each platform it's on. And I think you're starting to see it separate itself a little bit because it resurged. And I think you'll see each month it's going to stay up there while Zelda and Mario Odyssey start falling behind.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 1 was always charting ahead of Bayonetta 2 on the Nintendo eShop bestseller because it's only available digitally, whether you get the code with the bundle or buy it. So I'm kind of curious if Nintendo put out information about if Bayonetta 1 did better than Bayonetta 2 because it only sold digitally. I'm very curious about that.
Right. As always, I should reiterate that the Nintendo games that we have are physical sales only. They do not report any digital sales for their games.
Got it.
That's kind of it for shocking stuff out of the top 20. Bayonetta 2, it didn't do crazy. Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet is number 18.
Sword Art.
Hey, broke the top 20.
Anime.
What's number 20?
Number 20 is, you're not going to be happy, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Number 19 is The Sims 4.
I heard they're changing their...
Next week.
Yep. Changing their loot boxes.
Yeah, you know what? I read the article. Maybe it's worth talking about real quick. But it seems like it's only cosmetics for loot boxes, and your character's progression will be your gameplay focused only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that not how it's been for the last months? I guess they had no loot boxes for the last months? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So they're just going to add a lot of cosmetic options for your characters.
So Overwatch.
Feels too late.
It feels way
course.
too
It
late.
Of course it is.
I
way
know these
too
things
late.
are hard to
We're
do,
March.
but like
Yeah.
you took too long.
It feels way too late.
I know.
Like,
Bummer.
maybe if they had a battle royale mode or something. I don't know.
I just don't think you can. I don't think they have the.
Exactly.
I don't think Frostbite can handle it. Well, Frostbite can handle a Battlefield. Maybe it could,
Yeah.
dude.
Did we get some extension to the campaign at some point? I remember them saying
Yes.
like the story continues. Did that happen, or are we
Yes.
waiting for that?
I think it happened, Jones.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man.
And it's like an epilogue that links into The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was free. That thing was free. It was like download it. And I was like, at that point, I almost got Battlefront 2. I was feeling that Last Jedi hype. I was like, you know what? Maybe now's the time.
It's how they get the plans for the what the hell is it called in the beginning? Poe Dameron taking it out.
Oh,
That's a dreadnought.
It's a dreadnought.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
you
like
got
the
there, yeah.
dreadnought plans or something they get.
Well, who needs it?
Who needs it?
We talked, Huber, we would have loved this discussion. Last week we talked about movie and game advertisements that promote the game without spoiling any part of the story, that lead into it. And actually, like, when you're watching that movie, like Blade Runner was an example, when they talk about the blackout. Because they had those films leading in that talked about the blackout.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
Animatrix.
You know what I thought? You know what I saw? I think the next day after we had that conversation was Far Cry has a 30-minute short film that's up on Amazon Prime right now.
Really?
It's found footage.
Well, do you know who did the... Oh, no, maybe that was Ghost Recon. No, was it Far Cry? John McTiernan.
Oh, dear.
John
what?
McTiernan.
Who is that? Help me.
Die Hard director
Yeah.
and Predator and some other greats.
Yeah.
It was I think it was Ghost Recon, actually. Wildlands.
It was probably Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
I made it about 3 minutes in. And
Oh, you tried watching it?
Because I'm reviewing it. So I was like, I should watch this. You know, maybe this might fill in some gaps or help me write, like wrap my head around the story and talk about it more. Because thematically, it's a big concern of mine, just how they handle all the subject matter. I couldn't do it. Because it's got that found footage opening where like they're in the car and it's just like, hey, it's our last day of the shoot and we're doing it. Got my crazy friend in the back, camera in his face. Hey, what's up? I'm a crazy friend. And I'm just like, click.
man.
Not these people. Not them. Not these people. Just trying so hard. Like, oh, I'm driving the car and acting naturally. It's like, no.
You like hear that? Oh, sounds like it's podcast halftime.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of March. Simon Anderson. Michael Huber. You always give off positivity. Every Huber syndrome I watched, I come off feeling like love for video games and movies. Something that is very needed today. You are such a wonderful human being, and I would gladly fight alongside you. Thank you for all the love you give and for reminding me why I love what I love. Here's to another 2 years.
Love you.
Michael Damiani. I'm always amazed at the amount of work you put into the streams. Often you start streaming when I leave for work, and when I come back at home, you're still streaming. That must be a lot of energy put into it. Not only are you one of the best video producers, but you also make sure the streams run great. Here's to another 2 years. Project Longtail. Project Longtail is an upcoming 3D platformer action game made in the spirit of PS2 era classics. Go to www.longtailgame.com for more information or follow on Twitter @longtailgame. Professor Metal Gear. Scorn, an atmospheric horror adventure currently in development at Ebb Software, set in a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry. Go to scorn-game.com for more information. Mango. iKeyless. Since 2002, iKeyless has specialized in replacement automotive keys and remotes. They can save you up to 75% off dealership prices. Visit their updated website at iKeyless.com and use promo code EZA at checkout for free shipping and an additional 17% off of your order. Elthanis. Schemata. Schemata, a fast-paced mobile puzzle game based on digital logic diagrams developed by Friendly Fish Games. Race through logic circuits while organically learning how they work. The game is free with ads and has a $2 option to disable them. No other microtransactions are in the game. Out now on Google Play Store and it is also out on iOS. Find out more at schemata-game.com. Hogue Law Business Law Firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. Rick Hogue started Hogue Law to bring more than a decade of experience to companies like yours and is proud to support the Allies. Check him out at hoeglaw.com. Got some good merch, that Hogue Law, too. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
Can I go to hoeglaw.com and buy that hoodie?
I don't know.
So I don't think it's merch.
I'm not making promises
I think
here.
I think there's a difference between merchandise and like those things, like you're just printing out a pen and like, hey, check out my pen.
Yeah.
We got some cool stuff from. We got Hogue hats.
Didn't get
and
pens,
Hogue
though.
hoodies.
I could use a Hogue pen.
I could use a Hogue pen.
I could use a Hogue mug.
Isn't that funny? He sends us hats and hoodies, and we're like, where are the pens?
Where are the mugs?
Poor Hogue.
So we have not even begun to talk about all the headlines I want to talk about this week.
No.
So the next few headlines we're gonna make into a game. The game is called.
More games, Damiani.
Yeah.
Games.
This game, there's no winners or losers. It's called Cool or Oh Please. And so I want your reaction to these stories as either cool or oh please.
Okay.
Ubisoft this week announced that Vivendi will not be purchasing them.
Cool.
Basically,
Cool.
they found a way.
Yes.
Yes, the Guillemot's, they bought enough of their stock. Tencent bought some stock. 5% of Ubisoft. Oh man, it's what is it?
Canadian teachers.
Yes,
and-
the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan also bought in, which is basically Canada helping Canada. And so yeah, Ubisoft, Vivendi backed off. Vivendi sold all of their Ubisoft. It won't happen.
They said for 5 years they agreed to not try it. Right.
That is yes, I guess so. And I think it's also yeah. That's like they won't for 5 years. Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
That's an eternity, though. I think.
Yeah.
But,
I think that's while the assets kind of like dissolve into other places or whatever. And then
yeah.
It sounds. Sorry. Do you have anything?
No, keep going.
It sounds really good because for like several years now we've heard about Ubisoft saying this is like going to be a really bad thing if Vivendi follows through on this because one, it was a hostile takeover attempt.
Yeah.
So they didn't want this. They kept saying that the uniqueness of their games, whether you like every one of their games or not, every now and then they do something pretty darn unique with their games, I would argue. And they said that was going to be lost. That would go away if Vivendi took them over. And they were asking, like, we need to do this to protect our company. But also at the same time, like, it's good for... it sounded like they were trying to make it work, and they did, by having, like, Canadian entities invest in a Canadian company, basically to like, hey, you like this is good for Canada.
Yeah, it is a French company, by the way, I should say, but they're a lot larger.
Yeah.
There's a lot of studios in Canada. Yeah.
They're like, support this. Like, you want this to stay this way, or do you want this to be, go away? Like, this can only be good. And it sounded like they did a lot of work to make this happen, to get these different backers to come in. So like major kudos for like with that working out. But like, make us like, make good on it now. Like, release good games, keep upholding what you're doing and stuff. Don't like, as soon as like you lose this goodwill and stuff, like, people are gonna turn and be, man, I wonder what would have happened if Vivendi did follow through on that.
No, that will never happen.
Like, you don't want that.
Vivendi's done no good for anybody.
But at the same time, Kyle and everyone else, like,
I shouldn't say that. Sorry, but
Tencent getting involved though. I mean, they're huge. They own Riot. It's like, is this now opening the door to someone else possibly taking over down the line?
I looked at what I had, Damiani.
Yeah.
It's actually Tencent also has an agreement that it will not pursue further investments or any voting rights of Ubisoft. So Ubisoft says, hey, we got to cut this off at 5%. Tencent, no more.
Okay.
And so that is an agreement they had. And so Tencent's like, okay.
Yeah, that's when I heard about that. I was a little concerned. I was like, is it just going to go over to someone else now? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the agreement they made with Tencent is like, hey, 5%, you'll have that. We're going to move into China. Ubisoft has said we're going to commit harder to this Chinese market, which is exploding, which is making everybody a lot of money. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Is that 3 cools?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, that just makes me happy.
I've never heard of a hostile takeover being a good thing.
Fiduciary duty, dude. You just got to make that money.
I wonder if Vivendi has like a Ubisoft clock. They're like, start the clock. It's
Yeah.
like 5 years counting down.
Because I wonder if Gameloft is still making money. Vivendi bought Gameloft first, and that was like their road to getting Ubisoft. And like Gameloft used to be huge because they would make like iPhone versions of other games. I wonder if Gameloft is still huge. I don't know.
No idea. The fact that I don't really hear about it, maybe it's just not big in the U.S. anymore or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm positive they're still making games that are hugely successful. It's all about the degrees. I just remember like the last few E3s in a row, Eves would come out at the end, and I'd be like so sad. I'm like, man, he's gonna lose his company. So it feels good. I'm way on the cool side for this one.
Yeah. Hear about that Assassin's Creed leak?
No, what
Possible?
leaked? What happened?
The location?
Is this verified? What do you got for me?
Not verified. Not
You were
verified.
thrown out.
No.
Who leaked this?
I want to say it was like Eurogamer, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not. Don't. No.
Because I'll trust Eurogamer.
I don't even know why I said that.
I'll trust Eurogamer.
I don't
I'll
think
trust
it's
Kotaku.
I heard it was ancient Greece, and it makes sense because they brought it up a lot in Origins.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's
I
like
don't think it's here
there's
right
like
now.
even timeline overlap there too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool. All right,
So.
I would dig it.
Yeah. Just pinch of
Unsighted
salt.
source.
Unsighted source. Heard it through the grapevine on the wild, wild internet.
Take it with a big chunk of salt.
Big chunk. But Greece would excite me. It'd be cool.
We got some Sega announcements. We'll blow through these. Sega Genesis Collection coming to PS4 and Xbox One May 29th, featuring over 50 classic games. They'll have rewind, mirror mode, and a host of visual filters.
Cool.
Online.
Is online confirmed, dude? I think online
thought
was part of the leak, but I couldn't find that.
I think that's the
confirmed in
reason why
any
it's not
press.
coming to Switch right away. Switch
Okay.
version is going to be after Switch Online launches in September.
Sure.
I mean, this is the theory everyone's going with. I'm going to pull a Huber right here and be like, I just heard it through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
I heard it through the wild internet.
Pinch of salt. Pinch of salt.
I was going through their PR stuff. I couldn't find any like online confirmation. Yeah, but
I mean, everyone was running with that headline,
Yeah.
so probably people are just jumping the gun there.
okay. But
The
I mean,
idea of playing Streets of Rage online with close friends and complete strangers has me so excited.
and I know you love visual filters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Give me that. Those scan lines. Give me those scan lines.
lines.
All about it.
Is this their version of the SNES Classic? Is this their version of like, hey, we
Yeah.
can tap into that?
And what a smart thing to do to be like, we don't want to get into hardware issues, and have these things just like fly off the shelves. And
Well,
we
the
can't
weird thing
afford
is,
it.
I mean,
There's
they've
that
had this
horrible
weird.
one,
there's
yeah.
They've had weird Genesis boxes for like 5 years now,
Yeah.
where you could go get them at Walgreens, But like, yeah, this seems like more of a commitment to like putting together a quality
Is
collection.
it a port of last gen one? The Sega collection that was on 360 and PS3,
It very
or
much
is this
seems
an
super like this is its own unique thing.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
though actually, I guess there's already a Steam version of this very same thing, where like it's apparently has the same menus as the Steam version. Again, not a lot of info from Sega about this yet. I just got most of this from a tweet they sent out. What?
What if this is how they were doing Shenmue
What? As
Yeah.
part of this 50?
as part of this collection?
It would
or
have to be a
something?
Dreamcast collection.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay. Just spitballing.
Hey, I don't mind
Huber.
spitballing.
Just getting
It's
consumed
soon.
with hype, all right?
Okay, so where are we? Cool or oh please?
Cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Cool.
Damiani?
If it has online, it would be cool.
Okay, and if it
It's a
doesn't,
it's a Genesis collection, not a
yeah.
Sega collection, right?
Yeah.
Genesis collection.
Okay, yeah, my mind went Sega collection for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I think it's the right amount of time between launch and announcement because it's that level of it. Like May 29th, just 2 months early, it's fine. It's perfect. Sonic Mania Plus was announced this week. This is a version of Sonic Mania that will include an all-new Encore mode. Very few details about that. It will offer new ways to explore each of the game's acts and will come with unspecified visual changes. Who knows what
Why
that
do we
is?
play games at launch? Here we go again.
It includes 2 new playable characters, Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. The important thing, Huber, is that there wasn't a physical disc for Sonic Mania before. And so this will be $30 coming out this summer for Switch, PS4, Xbox One. You can get a digital upgrade.
Perfect.
So if you
Thank
bought it, if
you
you did buy it last summer.
Oh, there we go.
So
Okay. I was on the
generous.
fence there. That's
Yeah,
what I was
the
curious.
Me
upgrade-
too.
Cool.
Me too. Up
Upgrade
until
saves
that
it.
moment. Yeah, it
Upgrade
does.
saves
Cool.
it. Also, yeah, those characters coming from obscure Japanese-only arcade Sonic game, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was having it explained to me. I was asking my live chat during a stream. I was like, "Are they a big deal? What is it? Ray and Mighty?" And they're kind of like a joke. They're kind of like it's a funny idea to add them to a Sonic game. So I think that's cool.
'Cause I'm starting to notice this trend where like it feels like some companies will have an expansion and then they're like, I mean, we could release this expansion for $20 or we could just throw it into the game, release, Game of the Year edition. And then
Yeah.
like Game of the Year editions used to, like my mind is that something like a Borderlands 2 is like, we just had a ton of DLC. It's all in there and you can get it. So like we've released all this stuff, just not in a cost effective package that you can get now. And now it seems like same exact game with just one thing.
Yeah.
Buy it again.
Well,
$40.
Right.
But
And
30 bucks is a great price for that, I think. And
Yes.
that game sold well. Word of mouth was great, reviewed well. So
I think this is Sega going like, oh, Sonic Mania did really well last year. Sonic Forces didn't. Let's do
Yeah.
Sonic Mania again this year.
That pretty much is what this announcement says to me.
Yeah.
You're not getting the Sonic Forces Plus.
Yeah, there's no Sonic Forces
That
Plus.
pretty much like,
Yeah.
we are now confirming indirectly that Mania was the better performing game for us.
I liked Forces.
We still got to stream that.
I know.
Okay.
Mania's way better, of course.
There's also a tease for a new
Oh yeah.
racing game.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
R.
yeah.
It's like Sonic R.
Yes.
Yes.
And so here's what we know for sure about it. This game will not be a sequel.
yeah.
So that means it won't be Sonic and All-Stars 3. It is not a Sonic racing game. It's also, so it's not, they're using the R from Sonic R, but it's not Sonic R2.
So what if it's like
No, what it is?
running racing?
No, because we have headlights. There absolutely will be
okay,
cars
okay.
involved.
This is the pitch game we got earlier at the beginning of the podcast.
Yes!
It's in Sonic form.
Sonic's in a car. It is an RPG, baby!
We got trolled.
Side quests,
Sega
baby!
pitched us the game. And we were all out.
It's like Sonic Adventure Racing. What if the middle word is adventure? Because the last word is definitely racing. You can clearly see
yeah.
the silhouette.
Day and night cycle. You go into the woods
Werewolf.
during a full moon,
Yeah.
and you see.
Don't say it.
You see it.
Do it.
Don't say
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
You see Sonic unleashed.
You see a werehog. So,
Yes.
I don't know. Is that tease cool? Is that the right way to do that at this point? There were rumors that Sumo Digital is working on a new racing game
Oh, yeah.
and things like that. And so everybody kind of assumed it'd be a new Sega All-Stars.
Cool.
Okay. Huber?
Cool.
Brandon Jones.
Cool.
All
Sure.
right. Hey, we got
What about Sega Racing?
No,
Sega Racing.
I think that
Ryu.
I think them
Yeah,
them
right?
saying it's not Sega or Sonic Racing Transformed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have anything other than Sonic characters.
I kind of think that's the case, Jones.
Yeah, I think they're not going the whole Sega lineup route. Maybe.
I kind of think they wanted like touch Mario Kart's success. And I think the faster way to do that, honestly, is to limit it to Sonic characters. Excuse me.
Can Sonic and Mario Racing fit on that logo?
It could fit. We could make it fit. We could squash it.
And it's the F-Zero GX development team making. Let's
God.
go.
It's not unprecedented.
I'm
Let's
losing
go.
it.
I know
I'm
everyone's saying
losing it.
Sumo and Sumo Digital.
Yeah.
Get them together.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Can you imagine Lon D in like an F-Zero type stare down?
I know
Here we go.
we're trying to blaze through these, but like
Here we go.
I'm curious if I was off base there. Here's my theory: is that Sega doesn't have enough characters that make sense to a broader audience who would look at that box and say like, "Oh, Ryu from Shenmue's in here." Like I gotta get like I think it's easier to see a bunch of Sonic characters in particular for that game to be a bigger success. Is that weird?
Thematically, I think it would help their cause if they're going after success and
Yeah.
appeal of a Mario Kart.
Right.
Because, yeah, having all those different characters from the different Sega games, it worked, but at the same time, it made them go, I don't know. I think it speaks a little bit to the consistency and the believability of all those characters being in there. Like Mario Kart, even throwing Link in there, it feels like right because he.
No, it does not.
Yeah, it does.
But keep going.
He matches the style and stuff. He's not so out there.
He's huge. He's a huge boy.
He's on a motorcycle.
He's taller than Waluigi.
Okay. Well, apparently, you found out the characters are not really that tall in the Mario universe. But anyway. But let's throw out Link. Let's just stick to it, Kyle. Let's stick to it.
All right.
I think the Mario characters, they're aesthetic. They're the world. It looks great. Like
Sure.
the courses, the
I'd
themes.
say
It's
Animal
like,
Crossing fit in, Splatoon fit in. They fit in.
yeah, they work. But like this
Yeah.
does like kind of like the celebration of Mario, like seeing
Yes.
it presented in a different way. Sonic is still a really popular franchise in its own self. Seeing it and it's about going fast. Presenting it in this new package, like a racing game. On the scale and the production levels of Mario Kart could be something really good for them.
Dragon of Dojima racing.
He's not in it.
on
He
the
never
does-
streets.
so he never
Come
comes back.
on.
He
But,
just
like-
makes the box more confusing, I
Yeah,
think.
like-
I just think that's the case. While everybody would love that game more, like I'm sure I got angry comments about that, but I think it
your
just makes
Doc
the game more
Brown
confusing.
spider monster, Kyle.
Well, I will agree with Hubert that there's got to be something. Otherwise, just announce it. Why the mystery?
Yeah.
You know, like why showing us
The
one
RPG
thing and being
mode.
like, guess
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
There's got to be some
It's
weird
RPG
twist.
racing.
RPG
It's Sonic
mode.
RPG racing.
So
Or they could switch between running and the vehicles or something. Because Sonic goes
triathlon
fast.
or something.
Like maybe there's some weird like
Sonic
damage.
and Transformers racing.
Like maybe there's a damage mechanic to your car. It breaks up, and then so Sonic's now just running. Got to repiece the car together or something on the next lap. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's something. This is Sega. Go wild with their arcade roots.
Go
baby.
wild. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. Oh, one last thing, which is, I mean, I'm not this is definitely cool. I won't even accept any oh pleases. Unreal released the Paragon assets. So Paragon shutting it down, refunding everybody. I think April 26th is the date they're shutting it down completely. So they're releasing everything to everybody who wants to use Unreal Engine. So you can have the character models, the animations, the environmental art, sound effects. Just we're giving it to everybody. It's free. It's yours now.
My number one question.
Yeah.
Can somebody just go make Paragon again?
Yeah.
Can that happen now? Can somebody just be like,
yes.
yo, we're going to go make Paragon?
Isn't that weird? But like, yes, they're, it's kind of weird. I guess it's like, no, like you can use anything in Gary's mod. You know, you can take the Team Fortress 2
but they
characters,
still have...
but like you can't monetize that, right?
Okay.
I think that's how that works.
Cool. Got it.
Cool.
We would need Hogue for that, but honestly, I don't think you can sell a game using the Paragon characters.
Okay.
Fortnite is very successful. You know?
Are you about to say, oh, please?
No, it's. I mean, that's. Wow, this
you
game
mean
is so big. This
they
game
have
is bringing
FU
in
money is what
so
you mean.
much money.
Yeah, that they don't
They're
care.
refunding everybody.
Yes.
Like this week, the Save the World players in Fortnite were complaining about stuff. They're just like, fine, here's your $800 back. You know, it's like that uncle that won the lottery and he's just got his checkbook out. What do you want?
Yeah.
You want college tuition? Okay.
Yeah. They're in a nice position where, it doesn't hurt them really to release those
Yeah.
assets, and they're just, that's a pretty incredible. I think it's
Let's
cool.
get some goodwill. That's the one thing potentially you can't buy.
Yeah, I love that so much.
It is now time for Love and Respect.
Love and respect.
This one's pretty topical. This will be fun. Hey, allies. With the news this week of the closure of Toys R Us, I can't help but feel a little nostalgic. I vividly remember my first personal video game purchase with my hard-saved allowance for Pokemon Red from Toys R Us. The process of pulling the paper sleeve and taking it to the front to be handed my game from the backroom vault will always stick with me. I just had my first son last month, and it kind of bums me out that I'll never be able to take him to Toys R Us for a similar toy experience. Do any of you have any childhood stories to share about some adventure to Toys R Us, be it video games or some other toy? As always, love and respect, Brandon Patton at Thumbblister.
Oof.
I'll give some background while we think of them. To anyone who, like an international audience who doesn't understand why we're so sad about Toys R Us, this is a huge department store that sold only toys. Sells only toys. There's still some around. It's still here. And it's just incredible that like that's kind of it. It's a gigantic store.
Yeah.
You know, there's just there is no other toy store on its level. Earlier this week it was announced that they are expected to all shut down completely, ending any huge toy store only toy.
Brutal.
It's like losing Blockbuster.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it's on
don't
the
even
same
remind me. That
scale
one
of
still
that.
hurts.
It feels
Yeah,
yeah.
not emotionally though.
No, not emotionally, but like in terms of a big deal, like its name
Why?
recognition.
I'm way
here
more
in the
emotional
US.
about Toys R Us than Blockbuster.
That's what I'm
Huh?
saying.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't emotional at all about Black Panther.
I
mean, horrible for obviously anyone losing their job is not a funny thing, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, like the Blockbuster closing down and the jokes of like staring through the foliage and like, oh, it's a Blockbuster. It must, what year is it?
Yeah, and I mean, like, you don't have good feelings about Blockbuster because it was like, here, this is gonna be really expensive for you to rent, and it'll be really expensive if it's late, blah blah blah. But like,
You
Toys
know
R Us
what?
will have at least
Blockbuster.
That's not.
positive
I
connotation.
can't always
Love
say
it.
that.
What?
Loved Blockbuster.
You know what?
Okay, we're talking about Toys R Us though.
Toys R Us.
Okay, yeah, Toys R
Yeah.
Us.
I don't have like specific details, but my brother and I always used to play hide and go seek tag in Toys R Us.
In Toys R Us?
Wow.
In Toys R Us.
How long would you spend in there?
Like over an hour?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Like we would go with my family,
Uh-huh.
and then my brother and I would just run off. Like you're it, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like through the aisles. We'd like see each other in the aisles, like run. And my favorite thing was the giant container with the bouncy balls. Like not like a small bouncy
The
ball.
ones
It's a
giant
cage.
ones.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
giant
yeah.
cage with
Yes.
the big rubber bouncy balls.
Yeah.
And we always used to just like take them and just like throw them at each other. Mm-hmm. Chaos. Absolute chaos. We wouldn't cause too big of a mess. Like if we took the balls and put them back, wouldn't like knock anything off the shelves.
I don't believe you. I don't believe
I
you didn't
promise.
cause
Sounds
too
too
much.
disciplined for
promise.
children
Yeah.
right here.
Because my mom would always come out and be like,
Okay, sure. Yeah. What do you got to tell me, honey?
I can only remember. So I don't have that many great memories of Toys R Us, like great stories or anything like that. The only thing I can remember was in terms of video games was going. They had the demo units there for Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I remember spending like anytime I had a chance to get into a Toys R Us, whatever excuse it was, I told my mom, I don't even want to buy stuff. Like, we just go to Toys R Us, just go play Mario 64 demo there. I remember we had a spring or fall break one year and went with my friend to hang out, and like there's a Toys R Us by where we were hanging out on vacation. We went there like every single day just to play Mario
like
64.
Like an arcade, basically?
Like Toys R Us.
That's
Instead
funny.
of that, just to play Mario 64. And I remember the weird thing they did. They had like the shelves, the aisles with the plastic sleeves with the box art in there.
Yeah.
And there's like a slip of paper you took out.
Which would have the
and
price
you had to
on
go
it.
back to the back. I remember that. I never bought anything. All of my memories of like actually buying and receiving games that I can remember and enjoyed actually go to like Best Buy, like getting Ocarina of Time gold cartridge, the collector's edition.
That's Best Buy,
was at Best
Target
Buy. I was
for
like,
me.
oh
Nice.
my gosh, this is like that's like the first real like awesome memory I have of like going to get a game and picking it up and it being like me. It wasn't just like my parents bought it ahead of time and just like gave
get
it to
you.
me.
Yeah.
Like going to the store experience was like Best Buy. But yeah, that's all I remember from Toys R Us is like the slips and stuff like that. It was like, it's like, man, that seems like weird because nowadays everything's in the boxes and stuff. It's just it's such a different way to do it.
Jones, you got any memory?
Oh, dude, I got billions, man.
Oh, let's do it.
Toys,
dude.
Toys R Us was the first place for me that changed my perspective of distance as a child. Like when we would go to Toys R Us, that was a journey. And like it was 10 minutes away. You know, it's like but like I was so young that it's like we're going to Toys R Us. Like Disneyland was 45 minutes away. As far as I was concerned, that was in another state. Like that was a, you know, an epic, you know, pilgrimage to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But Toys R Us was like, wow, that's what I can't believe. Let's get in this car and go. I remember the guy I founded Game Trailers with, Jeff Groats. He had a very affluent childhood. He had parents that were very well off. I remember going into them and him just perusing the Super Nintendo games and being like, "This looks interesting. I'm buying it." And I was like, I remember like that whole concept of like, what? Like just seeing the box art. 'Cause people talk about box art. It's like, are you gonna buy a game based on that box art? I witnessed it with my own eyes. I saw it one time and I was like, must be nice. Getting there at 9 a.m. when they opened to get the Kenner Star Wars toys in the 90s when they re-released those.
Oh yeah.
Being in that aisle and having the guy come out with the box like, okay, calm down, everybody.
And the
like
displays,
opening it up,
Jones,
and I'm like, Leia, you got Leia, yes, and like, oh, there's only 2 in the box. Like, oh, there you go.
Wait, what time do they open? Like you're there at the opening of the
Opening, yeah.
That's so cool.
And I remember Leia in the first wave. They had like 1 per box of Leia, and so it was just like.
And you got one?
Oh yeah, I was just obsessed with those. Cool. I think about that. I was at Disneyland this weekend, and I popped in and saw like the episode 8 figures, and just like, yeah. I'm glad I'm not buying those. Just. There's just something about, I mean, even like the bike racks was epic, just something about like just
I always wanted one, dude.
Right?
The like giant electric cars.
Power wheels. Yes.
My whole childhood, I never got one.
Yeah, you never get
Always
those.
wanted
Never.
it.
Yeah.
Every time I would just look up at those things like, God.
But just going by the Lego aisle, like just going by, just seeing how much merchandise was associated with one particular film. If like one thing was coming out, just going like, here's the Spider-Man section, and you would see like they got the Legos, you got the tall figures, the posters, the T-shirts with stuff on it. And it's probably not something that a lot of people are talking about because I have a dangerous sweet tooth. That I've been working at, filing down over the years, but is still very prominent. The gum and the candy at Toys R Us is not messing around, man. Like you want that great Big League Chew, they got it.
Yeah.
You want
those
just these
baby
really
bottle
obscure
pops, they got them.
You want Pez, they got it. Not anymore.
For me,
Just
like
delight. Disney Infinity, man, going in the exclusives that they had, and just
this is like a
Lego
recent memory
Dimensions,
even.
and
Wait, I'm sorry. What exclusive did Toys R Us have for?
they had a
Disney
power
Infinity?
disc thing. I remember there was
okay.
some set that they had that nobody else had, or I think they got an exclusive for a couple weeks of 1 or 2 figures. But
For me, it was a pretty rare trip to go to Toys R Us. I think because my parents like knew it's dangerous because like it just fills your child with
want
wants.
everything.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's like too
everything.
much of a good thing. Just like it's hard to explain this time where like you can't Google a video game where your discovery, like Jones is kind of talking about, your discovery of these games is in this aisle.
That's why I'm shocked you guys hate Blockbuster, because going to a Blockbuster when you're young and seeing that box and being like, I want to play this, $5, $6. Like you get to play. You don't have to buy the whole
Ooh,
game.
renting games.
Like
I was
I
in
loved
movies,
that.
dude.
Yeah,
I rented
sure.
so many games. in my
Magical
entire life. You're
feeling.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So magical.
You
Yeah.
did it. You were perfect.
Yeah.
But to me, for me,
Renting those
Blockbuster
games.
was out of necessity. Like, I'm going to get this because this is the only way I can get that. There's no Netflix. There's no,
Yeah.
like HBO's not getting these movies until forever. And so it's like, no, we got to go. I want to go get this game. I want to get that now. Where I could walk into Toys R Us and not buy a thing and walk out and be stoked. Just
Yes.
really
Yes.
get that vibe. There are definitely times where I'm like, yeah, let me just stop in and see what I got.
Yeah, like the only time I've ever seen a Virtual Boy up until game trailers was there, Toys R Us, and it was just so cool to see. Like, oh, that looks so cool.
There's like a hallway that leads you into Toys R Us. Like
Yeah.
you come through the door and you don't go in. You're like, oh, I go over here and oh, okay, this is the entrance in, and then like
Yeah.
the exit's way over there.
This is like,
It's like IKEA for toys.
are they like done now? Like, do I have time to go to a Toys R
You
Us
have time to
say
go.
goodbye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say goodbye.
I'm going. Yep.
I really should go back to that Toys R Us that I went to as a wee babe.
Easy update. Here we
I was
come.
gonna say.
Here we
Oh,
come. Here we come.
the
baby.
last trip.
What are they gonna do? Sue you? They're out of business.
Yeah, they're out of
What are they gonna
What are
do?
they
Oh,
gonna
the
do?
employees will be like senioritis. They'll be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's definitely not the same. I've been to Toys R Us recently. It's not the same as these things that we are romanticizing
Maybe
now.
I
Probably.
shouldn't go.
But
then.
yeah,
Okay.
it's still a cool store. I think it's our transition into a digital culture that's ruining it. But yeah, it's a bummer. Big bummer to lose that. All right, let's actually. You know what? I thought that would be a really fun
I love
one,
that
but that was
quote.
such a bummer. What?
Fill your kids with want.
Yes.
It's just like
Oh, there's
it's so good.
Yeah, I don't
Kyle.
remember going to Toys
yeah.
R
To
Us
walk
that
out of Toys R
much,
Us with your
yeah.
kids being satisfied, no matter how much you bought them, is a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be mad.
All right, this one's fun. Let's do this one. It's never too soon. Dearest allies, thanks for an amazing live show. You're welcome. What do you expect from the next generation of video game consoles? And what are some crazy dreams you may have for them? Thanks for your time, allies. So much love and far too much respect to Mumble Mumbleton.
AI. Yeah. I mean,
How do you sell that, Jones? You're doing a press
Yeah,
conference? How do you
that's-
sell AI?
it's demos. I mean, you have to. It's like VR. You have to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
But Alexa style stuff is gonna get up in there, and you're gonna see games.
Oh,
Like,
you're
I
right.
don't think it's the kind of.
love
I don't
Yeah.
think it's the kind of thing where like
Nailed it.
the next, Last of Us Part 3 is like, woo, these enemies are super smart now. Games built from the ground up that maybe have like one or two characters in them, but like the something Sims level where you're like, this is. It's terrifying. This is kind of creepy, actually, that like this thing. Well, it's like the game you were talking about, this crazy MMO where you can destroy towns and it
Yeah,
plays for
God,
you
what
while
is
you're
the name of
offline and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's thinking like that kind of stuff. We're finally gonna get there.
That old E3 Spielberg game that got canceled when you're in the diner with the alien.
Yeah.
Just like something like that.
But
with
what I
just
think
so
Jones is touching on is really interesting because all of our games are voice acted.
Yeah.
This potential scary future where there's not even voice actors, it's like all automated speech.
they just
Like
know.
like you said, like Alexa. That'd be
It.
freaks me out.
why not? Why aren't they
Dude.
using it in games?
Oh, because Alexa's creepy. Every now and then Alexa does something. You're like,
Oh, like the headline where she was laughing.
and I'm telling you, playing Lone Echo for the first time, which is on Oculus, it's not an AI thing, but like they intentionally spook you in the beginning of that game because you start off and you're a machine, you're a robot, and so you like pop out of the closet that you're stored in, and it's the whole game's in 0G, and so you have this astronaut on the other side of the room who's like, oh hey, she kind of waves at you, and then fixes something, and then pushes over and like moves up to you, and like I was like, ah, it's like the future coming right at me.
Yeah,
So it's
man.
like games are gonna look deep into your soul in the
Yeah.
next gen. Like you're gonna have characters that are like, no, we're having a conversation right now. I'm gonna surprise you. Like I might.
Yeah.
Like one thing that's really impressed me about Grand Theft Auto 4, I don't know if 5 did it, I can't remember, but I remember failing a mission in 4 and then trying it again, and they had a different conversation
5 does too.
on the way over. I was
5
like,
does too.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Way unnecessary to like add another possible variable if things can happen.
think Red Dead
So
does it
I'm
too,
sharing
man, yeah.
stories with people, and we had different experiences. That stuff will start to happen automatically. They won't necessarily have to write that.
I know. How scary is that? The idea of like thinking a video game character could say anything to you.
Yeah. I don't want voice actors to be out of a job, but like potentially having voices that just write themselves.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I
like
think they'll work for particular
speech
kinds
working
of games.
into games.
Right, games that are narrative focused, like you just can't have that randomly automated because your story will suck. But yeah, I can see that absolutely. For
Something like,
games, yeah.
what's the desert robot? We have your robot friends, and you're running around the desert. And you got you're latching onto things, very platform heavy.
Recore?
Oh,
Recore.
Recore, yeah.
Imagine a game like Recore where it's not like, oh, I got my little friend, and then I can plug them into these puzzles, and that's it. Like this, you have just one robot friend, and it is legit personality. Like, you're having discussions with other people, not saying that like, oh, that one moment, yeah, I got to that moment too. You're like, the robot did what? And like, oh yeah, my thing is a vehicle now that I drive around and it flies. And you're like, what? You know, like these games that can build upon themselves.
Oh,
and then the robots will take over and, you know, and kill us all. But we'll enjoy it for a time being. It'll be really great.
We'll be smiling.
Yeah.
Huber, next gen.
Lighting. I love my lighting.
Yes.
I want lighting to just take it to the next level yet again.
Mm-hmm.
So every generation obviously improves visually, but you know, it's the little things that really draw me in, and lighting is one of them.
Yeah, I don't think lighting. It's funny. It's not a little thing. If you watch people do it, but it's not something they sell. You know, nobody's like, hey, check out the lighting in this game. You know, and it's a huge deal graphically. Yeah, that's a really good argument.
The last time I remember anyone even mentioning lighting was like Resident Evil 5, when you're indoors and you come outside to the bright sunlight. It like kind of
That's
reacts.
the last time you remember somebody mentioning lighting.
Yeah.
No, because you hear people talk about shadows and everything. You're like, it's still around, but you're right. Like, it having an impact.
No, it's just about the 4Ks and the resolutions.
And
It's like-
HDRs. Yeah. A time that lighting surprised you, I guess you could say, is fine. That makes sense. Yeah. Damiani, next gen.
Density with detail. I want... They're going to keep making more open world games, or games with larger environments. I want them to be as lush and full of life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want... I want, like, models. I don't want just basic textures on the ground. Like, I want blades of grass rendered. I want to see them individually blowing with the wind. Like, the trees, like, this, like... The leaves rustling in the trees and stuff. Like, I want that level of like detail. Like
The Witcher 3.
What?
There's like in Witcher 3, you come to a forest pretty early on, and it's like just the trees are moving. It's nuts.
Damiani, like
great.
he took me back to like reading articles about what the PS2 will be like.
Yeah.
Like so that's where you're at right now.
Yeah,
It's just like imagine
as
this.
much as I love the Shadow of the Colossus remake, that forest that Brad and I freak out about. It's so great. It's just the lighting. Here you go, lighting for the rays of light coming through the foliage in the top, but like it's not really moving or anything. It's just kind of like it's like silent. It's like still and stiff and stagnant. I want like weather and stuff to like really affect environments and stuff. I mean, Breath of the Wild kind of did because it's not as like detailed and high resolution as I would like. They did the best what they could with the Switch. So like lightning strikes, grass starts burning. Oh, it burns away. Oh, it makes wind turn up. You do see everything like kind of like blowing around in it. Like that's nice, but like I want to see it at like the level of like I want to see like Red Dead scale stuff looking like Uncharted 4 level or better than Uncharted 4 looking visuals, like with that level of detail in like open world games. Just because if you go for that immersion factor for me, like, and I just want to explore a world like that. Like I love that. Like just like walking a few feet, it's just like you feel intimidated. You're like like it's hitting me right now. And like the last time I like felt that was like the first time I jumped into 3D to play Ocarina of Time. I was like, just because it was in 3D, I was like, holy crap! I have to explore this world. And it's in 3D. What are you madmen who made this? This is gonna be impossible.
Psychos.
Like just seeing like the level of detail, you just like can like you don't even have to look at the horizon. Just like look like 20 feet in front of you. Just like a village and stuff. And it's like. This is like I'm gonna have to go through every shelf and stuff because I want to. Man,
Don't do it.
Pull out this book and it has every page written on it if you want to read it.
And then like an NPC walks in and like, hello, Damiani, please don't do that.
No, I want it. That's the AI thing.
Why are you doing that?
Merch Jones' AI and stuff, so they're better than that.
Please don't do this.
But oh man, like I really dream of like having that game someday.
Yeah. I don't think it's next gen. I love.
Probably further next gen.
Yeah. And this is
Witcher 4.
I do believe people are starting to feel the itch for next gen. Where do you think it is?
Starting to tangle.
Do you think PS4, 5, and next Xbox will be same year? Do you think they'll be the same month again? And when do you think, like, what year are we talking about right now?
I honestly think 2019 or 2020 latest.
I'm with you on 2019.
Yeah.
Announcement
2019.
2019, launch 2020.
But both PS5 and next Xbox?
I think so, honestly. I think Microsoft saw this generation and is going to want to get out of the gate first.
Yeah.
And I think Sony knows that too. And both systems have been out for a while. They've both had their, their Pro and their X. So we're past like the middle step. I think the next step obviously is the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they both could come out at a very similar time.
Yeah, it's weird getting the vibes of developers working on cross-generation games. Like they're kind of hinting at that at this point. It's like, oh, it's coming soon. Jones, what do you think? What timeline?
Yeah, announcement 19, launch 20.
And for both consoles?
For both consoles. Yeah.
Wow, okay. And
I think Sony might jump out ahead, but...
I'm trying to think of saying something different because I kind of agree with what they said.
I'm in the same boat. I thought everybody's going to be like 2021. I'm like, nah, I have an interesting take on this. It's like, no, we're all kind of
the most insane scenario I could see is this year at, let's say, PSX, end of year. It's a good time because the PlayStation reveal was in February or whatever year was 2012, whatever that was for PS4.
Yeah, it was 2012.
So they have PSX now, and it's in December. So like, if they wanted it to come out next year, it'd be like PSX this year. Big announcement, big secret is here. PS5 is coming in 2019. It would be out by the end of 2019. Like we're talking like in like November.
I'm sorry, February 2013. Announced and launched in 2013. PS4.
Oh yeah, because sorry, yeah, you're right. Because Wii U was 2012.
Just God of War and Last of Us Part 2 feel like the finale for the PS4.
Huber, Last of Us Part 2, I think that's cross-platform.
You think?
Yeah, I think that's going to be on PS5 when the PS5 is out.
I think there'll be a remaster, but I think it'll launch first on PS4 and then like later down the line. Like they did with Last of Us 1.
They've never I've never heard Sean Layden downplay a game's release date as hard as he did for Last of Us when he said like, "Look, this game just started.
Yeah.
Please don't ask us again about it." And actually, it's crazy. We saw more of it at E3 last year. Yeah. So maybe you're right. It's getting some momentum. Maybe it's a PS4 game.
We're gonna see gameplay. E3
for sure. We are.
It's going down.
Yeah.
But just something else AI-wise. Two other things I just want to say about AI that I think would be trippy.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn. There's a character standing in a place, especially Destiny. It's one of the things I hate about Destiny, where it's just like, this is where I stand. You're like, you don't live anywhere. You don't like get out. You know, like it'd be nice to come here and like, oh, you're gone. Where's that person?
Yeah.
And like they don't look at you. They're just kind of doing their idle animation, and then you walk up, trigger the cutscene. Oh hi Aloy. Yeah, I need you to do this thing for me. Thanks. Cutscene ends. You're not there. I'm not looking at you. I'm not talking to you. I'm doing my little idle animation with my friend here. What if like you finish the mission and then like I go back and turn it in, cool, and then like I'm going back through that area and she goes by, oh hi Aloy, or it's like thanks, I'm have this now, or like I've have this thing set up in my store, or thanks that you've improved my life and this has happened. Mm-hmm. Also imagine you go on like a rampage in GTA 6 and then you like go back and like save it and like cool, and like you're on a mission, you like walk into a bank and some guy in the bank's like, hey, that's the guy who ran me over. And the security bank's like, what? And you're like, I'm doing a mission. No. And it's like, no, I live in the city, damn it. You ran over my wife and killed her. And you're like, what? Ah! Like, and it's like, the city remembers you, man. Like you the repercussions for what you're doing.
That's fun.
Yeah. You create
Same with The Witcher, man. Same with Witcher. Imagine like every mission is a friend you made. And so it's like, now that city knows me, not because of some rep meter that went up, but because each individual person that I talk to remembers me and will react to me and,
Nailed it. Jones, 10 out of 10.
He's a dreamer.
Unbelievable.
He's a dreamer.
Unreal. Love it.
Let's do...
Hire this man.
We're at the end of the podcast. Let's do a really quick one.
I don't know how to code any of this. Don't hire me. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're the idea man.
Yeah.
Happy 2-year anniversary, EZA Allies. I just wanted to share my favorite moment from the concert on Sunday. Right before the concert began, I stepped into the only stall in the men's restroom. I then hear the door to the bathroom open, and 2 pairs of feet step up to the only 2 urinals. I quickly discover that it's Brad and Huber from their voices. As far as I can tell, they do not realize they're alone in the bathroom. Huber goes, yo, top 10 bathroom fight scenes. True Lies has got to be up there. Brad concurs, and so do I, shouting from the stall. I finally got definitive proof that Huber acts like Huber with the cameras off.
Yes, thank you,
Love and
finally.
respect, Joe.
Wow.
What did you hear from the stalls?
So I'm like, it's gotta be True Lies, right? And Brad's like, yeah. And then from out of nowhere in the stall, he's like, True Lies, easy. I'm just like, oh yeah.
That's good.
And it's funny too because in the fight in True Lies, there's the guy in the stall who's like, "What's going on out there?" So it's life imitating art. That's so great. And now it's horrible because now I'm just thinking like, what's another good bathroom?
Austin Powers. It is now time for bets.
The new Mission Impossible looks like it has an insane bathroom fight.
Does it really?
Dude, yeah.
That had a good trailer. We had a bad launch
yeah.
trailer, and then it had a good second trailer. I actually like that second
You know
trailer.
what the Mission Impossible trailer did that I thought was pretty sweet? That not a lot of trailers do is silence. They had like there's that truck shot at the end, like, oh, I'm gonna hit the truck, and then it goes straight quiet for like a second.
Yeah.
And then brings in the logo. I was like, ooh, that was effective actually. Like
It's getting there.
that could potentially be too dramatic in a trailer to just like
Tom
end
Cruise, he
silence.
still has it. He still has it.
Cruise missiles coming for you.
I told you he never lost it. He never lost a step. Time for bets. Next week's bet, Far Cry 5 comes out Tuesday, March 27th. Where will it be on Amazon's bestsellers list? Will it be a huge hit or not? Brandon Jones.
11.
Not a huge hit is what you're saying.
9 was my first thought, but
Okay.
I think 11 is still okay.
All right.
This
Michael
is a
Huber.
huge game. This is a good time to come out.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Michael Damiani,
The 7 spot.
the 7 spot. And again, I agree with Michael Huber. I also say it'll be number 2, right behind a PSN gift card. We'll knock that in. Let's talk about last week's bet, which was for Kirby Star Allies, which released last Friday. How many eyeballs will be on the back of the box? Hard to get this. We sent out a tweet.
World?
How many eyeballs will be on the back of the box?
Oh my god.
We sent out a tweet because I just couldn't find it. I Googled it like crazy. Blood was Googling it like crazy. And people were like, they had like, here, it's a video. And you like kind of enhance the video, but you still can't count the eyeballs. And somebody's like, here's the European back of the box. And so Bloodworth and I cross-referenced the two things. Anyway, Jones, you bet 12. Ben Hansen bet 14. Bloodworth bet 18. I bet 40. Blood and I agree there are at least 46 eyeballs on the back of that box. There are more. I was thinking there are more. We both think there are probably more. But
I need to see this box.
So here's the thing. It's called Star Allies. There's 4 players in every
yeah.
single screenshot, and then enemies on top of that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a lot of screenshots. There's a lot of evidence of like, hey, there's 4 characters and all the time, and so yeah, a lot of eyeballs.
Even if you only counted 30, I mean, you win.
So yeah, that's a big win for me. That brings us to Red Grouse 6, Gorgeous Gorillas 4, Golden Vulture 0. Golden Vultures, they're still 0. They can't get a point. They're going to remain 0 until we bring them up again. Droopy Eagle 5. Caught up, baby. I'm caught up to you, Jones.
How many do we have? The gorillas? 4.
Yeah.
You have 5, he has 5?
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a race.
Yeah. Huber, you would not believe how concerned the comments were for me and Jones.
I remember.
Yeah, it won't be a race.
Yeah,
Oh, It's
yeah.
going to be boring.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. We know how to bet.
Couple of
baby.
professionals.
Yes. Before we end the podcast, hey, Jones, what was your favorite part of this podcast?
My favorite, reminiscing about Toys R Us.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Michael Huber, what was your favorite part of this podcast?
Toys R Us, dude. That was hype.
Yeah.
Got me real nostalgic.
Imagining a
I'm
little
glad you
baby
both
Huber
say
running
this.
around Toys R Us, pissing off his mom. It's great.
I thought I undid the podcast. I thought I slammed the brakes on the podcast for even bringing that up. I felt the vibes go down, so I'm glad you say that's your favorite part. Michael Damiani.
Thought of Sega coming back and making a racing game.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my favorite part is watching Jones dream of AI. I think.
Yeah,
see
that
him-
was
You
nuts.
see his eyes light up. Yeah.
That was passion.
Yes.
He's been thinking about it for a while, probably. Like,
Yeah.
when did you have that moment, Jones, when you were like, you know what, next gen, AI? When was that moment?
I was not a fan of Alexa. Amanda's like, I think Amanda got it. We got it for a Christmas present or something. Her dad is really into tech, so it was something new comes out. Here's your iPhone. Here's her. He always gets her stuff, or the Apple Watch. And so we got Alexa, and I was like, I don't really need this thing. And I still am okay going over and flipping a light switch on my own, or just bringing up my phone and playing a song. I don't need to tell somebody to do it. But it got me thinking, what's the next step? What's the next evolution of this product? And the next evolution is you don't have to ask her a question. She's got it. So, so you don't say, Alexa, what was Jeff Goldblum's last movie? You go, Alexa, and she's like, I heard you talking about Jeff Goldblum for the last 10 minutes. I'm ready. I already got that information ready to go,
And you're right. You're
So it's
100%
that-
right. Yeah.
Because everything in life, everything in technology is all about convenience. That's what everybody wants. It's like we don't put our keys in the car anymore. We go boop. So it's like I want it now. I don't want to even lift a finger. And so that's going to be the next spot. Everyone's like, "Ooh, that's too creepy. I don't want that." Tough. It's coming. You know, it's
Horror games with that kind of AI.
Yeah. If you told somebody in the 90s that we were all like walking around with video phones, they'd be like, that future sounds terrifying, but here we are. So
Yeah.
I think, across all fronts, AI is going to get creepy, but fun.
Creepy but fun, like Easy Allies. You can become a patron of Easy Allies at patreon.com/Easy Allies. We do more than just this podcast. We do live streams. We do other podcasts.
We do concerts.
We do concerts even. We like make songs. So we do lots of things. Worth checking out that website, patreon.com/Easy Allies. That's how we exist. If you are a listener or viewer of this podcast, you can listen to it or view it 2 days early if you are a $5 or up patron of the Easy Allies. As the winner of this week's podcast, I get the right and responsibility to share my Twitter handle with the world. I get to promote any Easy Allies video I'd like to promote. I get the last word on anything I've disagreed with or simply want to reiterate or just thought of in this moment. And I get to sign off with my trademark sign off. First of all, at Kyle Bossman is the Twitter handle you'll want to follow. I'm doing more tweeting. I'm sticking with it. I'm doing my crunches. The video I would want to promote, selfishly, you know what? I'll go back to back. Box Peak, episode 1. I did it. This is a project that's been killing me for months, and I'm making progress, and it feels good. Please check that out if you have not yet. It is basically an animated show using voices of the Easy Allies, and Amanda Troop, Jones's wife, who's just incredible, adds some like strength to, you know, the whole project in an interesting way. But yeah, it's weird. It's like an animated paper puppet. It's unusual. I'm pretty sure you haven't seen anything like this before, so it's worth checking out. So yeah, check that out. Just YouTube search for Box Peak. You'll find it. The thing that
Peek, like peeking at something, like peeking inside the box, not peek. We've peeked. You know, not
honestly, I feel like
mountain peak.
I feel like YouTube's smart enough. If you type in box PEAK,
so.
it's gonna find it, right?
I hope so, yeah.
But yeah, it's about peeking outside of boxes. So yeah, it is PEAK. Thank you, Jones. I don't know. I think we're all pretty like in agreement this entire podcast. I guess what I would want to impart upon the PR team for Shadow of the Tomb Raider is pay attention. Pay attention to what works for trailers. Pay attention to what works for the Avengers. You know, pay attention to what works for other video game trailers. What gets people excited. Dial in on one thing. Make one thing something that people will be excited about. Just find something that'll spark us off. And my trademark sign off is, of course, tomorrow is forever all ours.
I am enjoying these microtransactions.